We have seen massive crowds for the World Cup. Today, transportation officials look at what's working and what to watch when it comes to getting around with all those fans. Thanks for joining us this midday. I'm Kara Sewell. So more details on the World Cup transportation in a moment. First, though, the sentencing just came down in the Alvarado ICE facility attack. And our Richard Salomon is live at the courthouse in Fort Worth with details. Richard?
Well, Kara, I just stepped outside of the courthouse here in Fort Worth. Several people who are charged in the Prairieland ICE Detention Center attack are learning how much time they will serve behind bars. Let me tell you about what we've just learned. This information came down within the last 30 minutes or so. I want you to take a look at your screen for me. We'll start with Benjamin Champagne Song. He will serve 100 years in prison. He was found guilty of attempted murder of officers and employees of the U.S. Today, we also learned Autumn Hill and Zachary Evans will serve 50 years in prison. They and others were convicted on terrorism charges from that shooting last year at the facility in Alvarado. Their supporters say last year on July 4th, the group planned to go to the ICE facility, shoot off fireworks to show support for detainees, but federal prosecutors labeled the incident as domestic terrorism, alleging Antifa operatives planned and carried out the attacks. Now, attorneys who we've spoken with here in the last couple of minutes or so representing the defendants say the group had no connection to Antifa and that what happened started as a demonstration involving fireworks escalated when gunfire broke out. Now, you'll notice behind me here in Fort Worth, there are some demonstrators across the street. They are there for the defendants. We'll be hearing from them later on this afternoon in the press conference, and we will bring you the latest later on tonight right here on Channel 8. For now, live in Fort Worth this morning, I'm Richard Salomon. Kara?
Well, we appreciate the update, Richard. Also happening now, opening statements are underway in the trial of Johnson County Sheriff Adam King. King is charged with corrupt influence, retaliation, and has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say King retaliated against Deputy Chief James Salter after Salter reported sexual harassment allegations. The defense says that Salter had his own agenda and argued the sheriff did not know about the allegations before placing him on leave. Now, we have a crew at the courthouse, and we'll have updates on social media and our evening newscasts. Erica Lopez here with us right now to talk about your traffic and what's happening in and around North Texas. So any trouble spots right now?
A couple crashes, nothing too crazy, and some construction for our Tuesday midday drive. Nothing like what we were seeing again this morning with more closures.
Yeah, you've been doubled over the last few days.
This is the messiest scene, Kara, that I'm watching right now. It's on State Highway 183 on the Dallas-Tarrant County line, right by DFW Airport. 183 and Valley View here. It's mostly on that right-hand side of the highway, but it does look like we've got multiple of those exit lanes, not fully blocked. Folks are able to skirt around it, but of course, that is a little bit dangerous. So I do want to take you over to where this is on the map and show you how the map is looking in general. The rest of Tarrant, Denton, Collin County, Rockwall, Kaufman County actually looking pretty good, but right on the line here is where this trouble spot is. So 183 westbound, so headed from the Irving area toward the Euless area, again, right by DFW Airport and County line is where we're following this crash. This is going to be the biggest scene that I am watching right now. Taking you to Collin County, where we do have an issue leaving the McKinney area on 75 southbound. I'm switching over our TxDOT camera, at least trying to switch over our TxDOT camera to get you to the right one here, and it's just about to pop up for us right now. This is 75. We can see it here at Country Club Drive. We've got a right lane and a right shoulder blocked off this morning. Aside from that, just watching some construction. We've got some on 175 West and Lake June, just a lane closure, not too messy out that way. Kara?
Thank you, Erica. Good to hear. So 3 games down, 6 to go as North Texas hosts the most World Cup matches of this tournament. And in a meeting this afternoon, we'll get an update on how it's going, getting fans out to Dallas Stadium in Arlington with shuttles, rail lines, and rideshare. WFA transportation reporter Janelle Fort has details.
Yeah, it really was. One of the biggest questions going into this World Cup was whether or not North Texas could move this many fans without direct public transit to Dallas Stadium. And so far, the answer seems to be mostly yes. Today, the Regional Transportation Council will meet, and they're expected to have a check-in, if you will, to recap how the transportation plan has worked through the first 3 matches here in North Texas. Fortunately, we haven't ran into too many issues. There hasn't been any major chaos getting fans out here to Dallas Stadium. The rail to shuttle setup has been moving people. Rideshare has been part of the plan. Traffic has been heavy at times, but not unexpected. The biggest headache we've heard about has been less about getting to the stadium and more about rideshare around FanFest. But the big thing officials are watching is how different each match day can look. Yesterday's noon kickoff didn't cause a lot of problems, but that 3 p.m. kickoff last week was much more congested because fans were arriving in the afternoon and leaving right in the middle of rush hour. And one more thing for people using DART. Because of the high temps we're seeing, DART has put out an advisory that light rail trains may run about 10 to 15 minutes behind when extreme heat speed restrictions are in place. So the plan may be working, but the advice is still the same. You want to give yourself some extra time, especially during those weekday match days. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
A massive trade in the NBA today, hours before the draft. ESPN reports the Milwaukee Bucks are sending their franchise player Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. It is a deal that involves 6 players overall and a bunch of draft picks, including tonight's number 3 overall. Giannis is a 2-time NBA MVP and 2021 Finals MVP. The stage is set for tonight's NBA draft at the Barclays Center in New York. The Mavericks have 2 picks in the first round. Number 9 overall and number 30, the last pick in round 1. And I am joined by Locked On Mavericks podcast host Nick Angstadt to tell us how tonight could shape up next season. There is a lot to dive into. Good to see you, Nick.
Awesome day, draft day. Giannis finally got traded. The national nightmare is over. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with the big news of the day. Before the draft, we're still talking about this. The Mavs hiring Michigan's Dusty May as their new head coach. I want your thoughts on him.
Dusty May is an incredible hire for the Dallas Mavericks. This is one that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen. It was reported that the Mavs had reached out to Dusty May and John Shire from Duke and that they'd be interested in a college coach. And then the rumors kind of subsided. It seems like the talk was that they weren't interested in moving. Dusty May had an agreement, a verbal agreement to go back to Michigan. It happened like 6 days after they won the national championship in April. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, he's agreed to be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. This is a wild swing. Stuff like that happens in college sports. I know that if you follow college at all, the coaches, they move around all the time and they're going to do what they do and they're going to do what's best for them and their situation. And coming to the Dallas Mavericks is a spot that's really great for him. He gets to coach Cooper Flagg. That's reportedly one of the big reasons why he chose the Mavericks over a team like the Orlando Magic or the Portland Trailblazers that also had coaching vacancies. And so Cooper Flagg, working with Masai Ujiri, this ownership willing to shell out the way that they did to say goodbye to Jason Kidd, to bring in Masai, and now Dusty May shows that they are really invested in this franchise, and it's a really good spot for him, and I think he's a really interesting hire.
Now, we're talking about it, and a lot of people are talking about it, but there is still no formal announcement about Dusty from the Mavs. So does that mean he's not going to have much of an impact in tonight's draft?
Well, it's professional sports. When has an official contract ever stopped people from talking about certain things? I don't know if that's necessarily going to step in the way. And I think the Mavs should want Dusty May to have some say in this, in the draft, because he coached 3 of the guys that are probably going to be around the range that the Dallas Mavericks are drafting today. Adai Mara, Morez Johnson Jr., and Yaxel Lendenberg. They were all on that Michigan team that won the national title with him. And so he's obviously got some great things to say about those guys and knows them intimately. And then also he's coached against all these guys in the first round. And then he's scouted against them. He's probably recruited a lot of these guys that are going to be around that range. And so the Mavs should want him to have some kind of input, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if we didn't have a formal announcement even before the draft.
Yeah, you would think there would be some conversation. All right, the Mavs have 2 first-round draft picks. Will we see wheeling and dealing? Is there someone they're really targeting? What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of talk about trading down. There's a couple of teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Charlotte Hornets, now the Milwaukee Bucks that have multiple picks in this draft. And the Mavs could trade down with any of those teams. We did a mock draft on Locked On Mavs with all of our other shows, Locked On Thunder, and we did a trade and we traded down. The Mavs got Isaiah Joe from the Thunder. They went and got number 12. They got number 17. And so they moved and traded the 1 pick for 2 picks and got 2 guys out of this. And I think that's something the Mavericks could definitely do today. But if they don't, I think they stay. They probably take Braden Burries out of Arizona. That's the guy that's mocked the Mavericks the most out of all the mock drafts out there. I went through yesterday. I think I went through 7 mock drafts from different places, and they all had Braden Burries to the Mavericks, which probably means he's not going to go there because we're never all right about something, right?
Well, I'm going to circle back with you on that for next time and see where you were. No question that Cooper Flagg is coming off an incredible rookie season, so expected to be the face of the Mavs. I say expected. Of course, there can always be changes, but for many years to come, we're hoping he'll stay around. What are some of the biggest building blocks they need around him?
First of all, I don't think Mavs fans are ready for a joke about Cooper Flagg or their best player being traded at a certain point. I don't know if we're ever going to be ready for that. But man, with Cooper Flagg, he's going into his second year, expected to take a big step forward. His first season showed so much promise. So many games where the game where he dropped 50, the multiple games where he dropped 40, where you just saw, man, this is what could really work on the biggest stage. You watch those playoff series between the Spurs, the Thunder, the Knicks, and you go, he could play in all these and excel in all these because size matters in the NBA. Size with skill and ability matters. And so the other thing about Cooper Flagg that's awesome about this draft is that you can put anybody around him. Any of these guys, you can find another power forward, you can find a center, you can find a small forward, any kind of guard. He can play with any single one of those. Dusty May is a coach that has worked with a bunch of different schemes and fits and different kinds of player styles in college. And so this is something where by the end of the night, the Mavs may look completely different. And that's something that's exciting because they can do almost anything with Dusty May's versatility and Cooper Flagg's versatility as a player.
Well, Nick, I know you have fun watching tonight. Thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
And you can catch round one of the NBA draft live tonight right here on WFAA. It starts at 7 o'clock, followed by WFAA News at 10, where we'll have all the reaction for the Mavs to their picks.